Hey everyone, this is my first YouTube video, which is wild because I've been posting on LinkedIn for more than a year now. But here we are. I'm Katarina and I've spent the last couple of years in remote hiring trenches, and basically what we do is helping remote agencies and startups, but in most cases it's e-commerce space, to find actual talent without losing their minds. Today, I want to tell you about the time we built something that worked perfectly for 2 months. So basically what we did is we took a deep dive and we built an AI screening tool that saved us more than 50% of our hiring time, especially in the pre-screening part. It worked perfectly until it didn't, because it worked probably for a month or so, maybe even 2 months. But then candidates started figuring out how to game it. And here is actually what happened and why we decided to pivot for Q1 2026. So here is a quick backstory. I started building jobs in November 2023. Took some research for more than a year because I also had a full-time job. And I was doing this and consulting work, but we needed bootstrapping for the whole thing. So by the end of 2024 and early 2025, we spent months perfecting AI rating system. And of course, we thought, as most of the founders, that we nailed it. So we launched a beta finally this summer. The results were incredible at first, especially for the candidate side. What didn't work was subscriptions from companies. We had 0 clients subscribe on the actual platform. Candidates loved it. It was shorter than traditional recruiting, way more relevant than generic personality tests or pre-screening questions. Employers were satisfied when we used it. They were super open for the whole process, giving us the exact questions that we should ask that are super relevant for the role. On the other side, they didn't actually want to use it, which was a huge problem because they loved what we delivered. Pre-qualified talent, less noise, faster hires, but they didn't want to use it. Still, everything was working and it was working for our side. And then eventually we came to a huge problem because we started noticing something weird. Around month 2 or 3, the quality started dropping. So what actually happened, that candidates who both had experience and didn't have the experience, they started faking their responses through AI. So the usual laziness. But I cannot blame them because they still want to get the job. So, as I mentioned, candidates were passing the AI screen just fine. They looked great on paper, but then they would just flop in the actual interviews with clients. So when the interviews with clients came that are more in depth, they started seeing their flaws and everything, which was a huge problem because at that point it looked like we didn't have a clue what we were doing. Our pre-screening wasn't actually delivering value. So we started digging into the data to figure out what was going on. And at that point, we realized they were basically reverse engineering our questions. Some candidates were literally copying our exact job description and questions into ChatGPT and using it to craft like perfect answers. But others basically learned the patterns. They figured out that they will use AI to just polish their responses versus what they actually knew how to do. Here is a brutal truth that we had to accept. Eventually, we decided to ditch the AI rating completely. Any system you build, people will find a way around it, especially with AI and when the stakes are high, right? So are they getting a job? No, they don't see the value behind the AI rating. Some actually did benefit from it, but it's just a small portion. So yes, those are high stakes, and candidates, of course, adapted faster than we could update the system actually. But again, honestly, I cannot blame them because who knows if I would do the same if I were in their shoes. Coming to the lessons learned, we learned them the hard way. The first one I would love to mention is that AI screening alone is not enough, especially today and in remote work. You cannot just automate the front door and call it done. Candidates adapt faster than system updates. And the second they see the pattern, they will optimize for it. So that's not the actual bug in the system. That's just humans being human. So if we can find, and this is especially true for the Balkan region, if we can find our way around it, we will use it. And that's basically it. Lesson number 2, the gaming wasn't malicious. I think it was still rational, because if your filter is predictable, people will optimize for it. That's not cheating, but survival in a competitive job market. So if you think about it really, If you knew exactly what someone wanted to hear to get hired, wouldn't you just say it? Of course you would. The problem wasn't the candidate. The problem was we made it too easy to fake, and we actually, instead of making it with less friction, we created more friction for both them and our side because we, again, had to double, triple check everything. Lesson 3, the real problem wasn't AI, it was what we were measuring. We were screening for the right answers instead of actual capability. And of course, skills can be faked in tests. You can sound like an expert in a questionnaire. You can sound like an expert in your CV, motivational letter, but what you can't fake is execution. So that's where we messed up. We were asking the wrong questions, measuring the wrong things, and not bringing the value. So back to square one, the pivot. We're moving away from pure AI questionnaires. We will still use it to automate the process, whether for sharing the feedback, scheduling calls, or just doing some small pre-screening on that side to make sure that it's actually relevant for us to take the interview. We'll focus more on combining the efficiency of AI with human proof validation. So basically, we are building something candidates can game, but will benefit them because it doesn't test what they say, it tests what they do. And honestly, that's what we should have built from the start. So coming to an end, here is my takeaway. If you are building a hiring system, assume people will try to game it. Don't blame them. That's not cynicism. That's the product design one-on-one. The question isn't how do we prevent them gaming the whole product. The question is how we build something where the gaming doesn't matter because we're measuring the right thing in the first place and bringing value. So yeah, it's not all fun and games and we're back to the drawing board, but this time we're building something that will work even when candidates use AI to fake the system. We're opening up a new version soon. I'll be happy to hear any of your thoughts, good or bad, I can take it. Thanks for watching my first YouTube video ever, and let me know in the comments if you ever built something that people immediately figured out how to break, and see you in the next one.